What's good with the world, everyone? Part 2. You know what time it is. Part 2 of Maximus. That's what it is. If you guys didn't know, I got a release coming out just today. And I got a release coming out next Tuesday. So wait up for all of that stuff. Let me change the camera angle a little bit. Alright, so we're going to continue with our in-depth tutorial on Maximus. As with it always, check out my friend's song. Links in the bottom below. I'm like DJ Collab, you know what I'm saying? Alright. So let's get to all of this, alright? So this is basically the most important, the most powerful functions of Maximus that that is here. And it makes Maximus different from every other multiband compressor that I know of so far. If you guys know a multiband compressor that does these kind of things, let me know. Alright. So this multiband compressor can actually do 4 things, all right? 4 things at once or more, but basically it's like the 4 essential, you know, in theory. All right, when it's at a 1-to-1 ratio like this, all right, if you guys look over here, this is the in, so this is the input signal and this is the output signal. All right, this is called unity in the language of compression. This is called unity. So whatever goes in comes out. Okay, this is the X, this is the Y. This is called unity. Whenever I lower something like this, this is basically downwards compression. So this is like strictly speaking, this is like the normal type of compression that you will have in a song. This is downwards compression. Okay, if I have it, let's say this is 0 dB right over here, right? You can see it right over here, and I have it straight right here. This will be the same thing as a limiter. So nothing above this point will go up. So if you guys haven't noticed, then this is the threshold for everything. This is the threshold. So where you set the threshold, you know, in a normal compressor, that's where you're gonna start limiting, right? This is the ratio. And then with the curve, you could set the knee. All right. So normally you would, let's say for example, if you wanna, you know, compress something, you know, you would go here, and if you go here, it tells you on the left corner what decibel it is. So it'll be like 20 decibels. Then you will set this around 20 decibels. Boom. All right, this is around 20 decibels. And then you would, you know, tweak with this. As you please. Okay, that's the way you normally go about compression. But like I said, this is only one of the functions. There's 4 functions to this. All right, so for this, I'm gonna look at this picture right over here I got off online. There's this thing called downwards compression. This is the normal form of compression. So whatever is the loudest part, you make it into, you know, you compress it, right? You make it more dense, and then you make it louder again, which is downwards compression. You have upwards compression, which is making the soft parts louder. What that means is, if you go over here, right? If you go over here, this is the soft parts. This is the loud parts. You guys could tell by the decibel points over here. I didn't know this for a long time, so you know, I'm letting you guys in on a secret, straight up. All right. So for example, if I have something like this, if I put it up like this, then the soft parts are becoming loud. Let me show it to you on the highs. Then the soft parts of the mix, let's say for example, if you have it on the master, the softest parts of this mix right now should be like the hi-hats and stuff. Make these weird like abstract graphs, you know, like you guys could hear the hi-hat, right? Yeah, all of that stuff. So you can make the lowest parts of the sound, you know, up. And that's what upward compression does, okay? You compress it up. You get the smallest, the lowest volumes, and you compress it up. Actually, right here it says it's uncommon, and it's true in terms of mixing, in terms of mastering. You know, if somebody gives you a whole track and you're supposed to mix and master it, then you don't use it as much. But actually, in terms of sound design, when you want to create your own sound, you use this a lot. Just as an example, when we go to Sound Good Dizer presets, which are right here, you see this all the time. You see right here, they put this up. That means the soft parts are gonna go with loud, and then they're gonna peak at 0 decibels right over here. That's why your stuff sounds good all the time. You know, it sounds more intense, so to speak. Okay, that's upward compression. Downwards expansion is basically the same thing as a gate. All right, it's a gate. So whatever is below a certain threshold, you're pushing it all the way down. Let's say, for example, on this mic, I recorded my voice, right? And there's background noise. You don't want the background noise, right? So the background noise, you're gonna put it at a certain threshold and you're gonna push it all the way down. That's what a gate does. So for example, if I did it like this, again, I'll show you. So a lot of the times I don't hear the hi-hats anymore. I don't hear the end of the snares anymore. I don't hear a lot of the softer instruments because I've just made it into a gate. This is what a gate looks like. That's downwards expansion. All right. So that's the third thing that it could do. Fourth thing it could do is upwards expansion. That means the louder parts get louder, which means if I have it, what's the loudest part right now? What's the loudest part? I think the snare is probably the loudest part, so I can make the snare the loudest just by doing this. You guys hear that? This is exaggerated, obviously, but I can make the loudest part louder. A lot of times you would use this to effect because a lot of the transients, they don't survive. Let's say, for example, like somebody who recorded, they sent you a mix where everything was over compressed. You know, there's no loud and soft. There's only fucking, like, you know, compression, dense material. Then you would have this, you know, to effect so that, you know, you could increase some of the transients, you know, some of the volume in your original mixes. That's why you would have that kind of, you know, upwards expansion, more or less. And then there's all these other ones where it's freeze and all of this. One tip to tell you is, you know, if you press, this is normally the way I do it. You know, if you have freeze off, you could set it anywhere. But if you have Alt on and then you do it like this, you can move it anywhere. One thing I forgot to explain is this knob right here. This stereo separation knob. This is the same thing on the mixer with this knob right here. So all the way to the right, you're gonna have stuff in mono. All the way to the mono, and then on the left, very wide. Can you guys hear the difference? Mono, stereo. All right, that's the only other thing. One other thing I forgot to mention is these two right here. Okay, so for this tap in, this is basically for you guys to use A and B comparisons with any mix that or any tweaks that you did. So for example, I made this kind of that kind of crazy tweak right there. I press this, store and spare state, or I could actually go here, store and spare state is the same thing. And then I switch it over to another preset, punchy drums. And then if I press this, no. And then if I press this, did it wrong. Let's do it again. Alright. Alright, so if I do it like this, store and spare state, and then I open something else, punchy drums 5, and then I click this. Alright, flip with spare state 8. It's the same thing here, okay? You do this. It goes back to the original state that I saved it in. Okay, so you could do a A/B comparison and see, see more in detail what's the difference between A and B. That's basically what it is. All right. So hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. This is pretty much everything for Maximus. Use it a lot. Maximus is great. It has low CPU usage out of all the multi-band compressors I've used so far, especially in FL. All right, and you could do a lot of stuff in here without actually doing it. Don't use sound goodizer. Come on, sound goodizer is for fucking noobs, man. Come on, you can, but know what you're using. That's what I'm saying. All right, and make sure you guys subscribe to me. Make sure you wait out for my upcoming tunes. You know what I'm saying? On the 31st, Halloween release. Peace out. Blow.